this video, I want to mostly finish up with the Randy Silverman conservation pamphlet binding by sewing 2 and 3 section pamphlets. I'll tell you now, the 3-section pamphlet is a pain in the neck. So why persevere with something so difficult? It has a big upside, and I'll discuss this while I struggle with the sewing. In this video, I'll focus on what is different, and the big difference is that all the components can't be pre-punched for sewing at once. The sections are all sewn through the same holes in the flyleaf sheet and the cloth guard. Since I have to punch 4 items all accurately referenced to the head, I'll make my usual hooked punching template, then I'll pre-punch the sewing holes. I'll start by sewing the 2-section version. Big difference at the start is that you go into the section from the outside. This means the knot will be on the outside. I think this could be sewn to have the knot on the inside, but I'm trying to follow the article, so outside it is. It is sort of like sewing 2 on, except at the end you double back before continuing to the other end. If you're going to do this sewing, you have to print out the diagram and follow it. It's an easy to follow diagram worth 1,000 words. I did prototypes and practice this months ago. This was going to be my first video back. I don't remember what happened, but as often is the case, the plan changed. Getting the needle to go through the section and find the hole in the flyleaf and guard can be challenging. Going inside out is fairly straightforward. The other way is more challenging. I find it easiest to freshen the hole by pushing the needle out first and then find the aligned hole from the outside. First go, everything was going really well, and then I forgot to double back at the end. I decided to start from scratch and pulled all the sewing. Then I forgot to hit record. Pulled the sewing again. Third time, not the charm. The holes were getting a bit messed up and I kept catching between sheets. I got there in the end, but it isn't the neatest job I've done, so no close-ups. I cut the boards to size and shaped the spine edge exactly the same as the single section version. The instructions say to put the board the thickness of the pamphlet back from the spine. This pamphlet is 7mm thick, and this is simply too far. You don't get the nice parabolic shape the article wants. To get the shape, I found a strong 3mm was the best. This is the only significant deviation from the instructions that I've done, but I think it's the best solution. I certainly wouldn't go much thicker and use this structure, and I think 3mm is the distance in from the spine edge for all thicknesses. Maybe a weak 3mm for thin pamphlets and a strong 3mm for thick. I'll cover in a full covering style. I'll cut the covering cloth to the correct height to give 15mm turn-ins, and I'll cut it slightly longer than needed and trim one of the foredge turn-ins after covering. Once I apply the covering material, I'll let it dry under some weight before doing the turn-ins. Turning in at the spine is the same as the single section, except with the full covering there is more cloth to deal with. But there's no mucking about with board paper and it goes quickly. Silverman says when a pamphlet is made up of 3 thin sections, the sewing becomes more difficult to describe and clearer communication can be achieved visually. The simple wrapping flyleaf and the reversed bookcloth hinge are again used, this time in conjunction with a 3-on style figure-8 pattern. The sewing again begins on the spine of the reversed bookcloth hinge and climbs or drops, as the case may be, to the next section as each consecutive stitch advances. Once I've finished the 2 and 3 section pamphlets, one of the big advantages of this structure can be seen. It opens completely flat. No adhesive on the spine, and the loose sewing allows the leaves to lay flat with negligible drape. The perfect application that comes to mind is music, but I guess it could be used for its intended purpose as a conservation structure too. But if you have seen my video on the single section bradle binding, you'll be thinking there's some similarities. The sewing from Silverman's article for up to 3 sections can be applied to the single section Bradel binding too, the main difference then being the covering. The Bradel binding is a cased book with a square back. Silverman makes an argument that the French grooves of the joints are a weakness. I'm not sure this is the case, and I think I prefer the other binding, especially since the square back allows for titling on the spine. I hope you found something useful in today's video. As always, I really appreciate you hitting the big thumbs up button. If you're able and want to, you can support the making of more videos like this through Patreon or with a one-off contribution, and the details are in the description below. If you want to be notified of my future videos, please hit the subscribe button. Until next time, cheerio.